Everyman by Philip Roth, published in 2006, won the PEN/Faulkner Award for Fiction the following year, marking Roth's third time receiving the prize. The novel takes inspiration from a 15th-century morality play of the same name, where the protagonist is called by death to account for his life before God. Roth's story centers on an unnamed elderly man, thrice divorced, who dies of a heart attack during one of many surgeries he has undergone. At his funeral are former colleagues, residents of his retirement village, his 3 children, Nancy, Randy, and Lonnie, his older brother Howie, Howie's wife, his ex-wife Phoebe, and Maureen, his nurse and lover. The narrative then moves backward, tracing the man's life. In his 30s, after leaving his first unhappy marriage, he takes a vacation to Martha's Vineyard with Phoebe, his new lover. Although happy with Phoebe, he feels guilty for abandoning his wife and children, leading him to reflect on mortality. Returning to New York for medical care, he discovers that his appendix had burst, a condition that could have killed him if left untreated. After 22 years of good health, he falls ill again. He attributes his sickness to watching his father's slow death, but it turns out he has heart disease. During surgery, he meets Maureen, the nurse who becomes his lover, offering him more comfort than his wife. As his father dies, his thoughts once again turn to the inevitability of death. 9 years later, after another heart surgery, the Everyman moves out of post-9/11 New York and into a retirement community where he takes up painting. He misses his daughter Nancy, but has little connection with his sons, Randy and Lonnie. He regularly faces heart-related hospitalizations. At the retirement village, he teaches painting classes, but when one of his students, Millicent, commits suicide, he is again forced to confront mortality. His envy grows toward his brother Howie, who enjoys good health, straining their relationship. Eventually, the Everyman stops painting, burdened by his ongoing reflections on death. The Everyman is deeply lonely without a wife or female companion. In one instance, he unsuccessfully tries to seduce a jogger passing by. His marriage to Phoebe had ended when he had an affair with and later married a young model named Mirette. This new marriage was also unsatisfying. Mirette was vain and emotionally distant, especially during his times of illness. Without the solace of painting or the company of women, the Everyman sinks into depression. His phone calls to old friends and colleagues only bring news of terminal illnesses and deaths, further deepening his despair. Soon he learns he needs another heart surgery. Isolated, in declining health, and estranged from much of his family, the Everyman begins to confront his mortality. In a poignant moment, he visits the cemetery where his parents are buried. Though he is not religious, he finds a strange comfort in the tangible presence of their remains beneath the earth. During this visit, he speaks with a gravedigger who describes the process of preparing and filling graves in vivid detail. Strangely uplifted, he faces his upcoming surgery in good spirits, but he dies during the operation. At its core, Everyman grapples with the inevitability of death. The protagonist is constantly reminded of mortality through the deaths of his parents, friends, and neighbors in the retirement village, as well as his own failing body. The novel is framed by the opening scene of his funeral, making it clear from the beginning that everything the reader learns about the Everyman is in the shadow of his impending death. Stoicism also plays a central role in the story, as the Everyman tries to endure his pain and suffering without complaint. Though fearful of oblivion, he tells himself that each surgery is a positive step because it keeps him alive. Yet as he ages, it becomes harder to maintain this outlook. The story also explores the idea of lust as a source of vitality. His 3 failed marriages are driven by his desire for the next woman. However, at the retirement home, after his failed attempt to seduce the young jogger, he can no longer use lust to energize him. This loss of vitality hastens his final decline, and he dies shortly afterward. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.